Order in the court. Just a robot. You defended yourself very well from the prosecutor known as the Names Junkie. The jury really was in your favor.
Thank you, Your Honor, but there's still many others I have to deal with, and I would like to take on the prosecutors known as Kai and Omnia next.
Nope. We had to move up Luke, because he's a big deal once more. So this might be your last chance to ever talk about him. I seem to recall that you wanted to take him down by yourself with no lawyers helping you out.
Yes, I did say that in my last video about the Names Junkie, and if any of you watching this want a sum up of the drama, watch that video. I know it's 2 hours long, but you don't have to watch the full thing. The recap is just in the first 40 minutes.
Jar, we both know that 90% of the people watching this video will not watch the recap, so please, do a much shorter one about Luke here.
You are correct on that one, Judge. I really hate it when I tell my fans to check out a previous video so they get a recap of the situation. Then they don't do that, and then they're lost and confused and they complain about it in the comment section. The Tobi drama started with, well, Tobi. Tobi was an art commentator who was growing really fast after she did a video calling out creepshow art. Keep in mind, this was before the lolcow leaks happened, and also before the Hopeless Peaches drama even started. Over time, Tobi got into some drama with Kai and Omnia, who called her out for being an asshole to people, calling Ben the Looney a pedo for drawing not safe for work of characters from OKKO, when she drew Todoroki with a bloody nose herself, forgave Shane Dawson and other people like PewDiePie. Apparently you can't support BLM and like PewDiePie.
Behind the scenes, without anyone's knowledge at the time, Creepshow Art was manipulating things on lolcow, making the drama much bigger than it should have ever been.
And once Prismate Luke joined in on the drama, things really started getting out of hand, because his videos got from 100k to 200k views a video. Keep in mind, Tobi only had roughly 50k subs around this time. The drama was, and something that always should have been, just a little one, but it quickly grew into a big one. Just like my dick.
Harsh and Nani thought something fishy was going on with the drama, and they made their own videos on it, which made fucking Thumin join in on the drama, calling out everyone in the CC for as little as leaving joke comments or not wanting to get involved. I was working on the video about my past with some other YouTubers, one of which was Harsh Opinions, who was getting bashed for her Tobi video. I made my own video on the Tobi drama.
Oh my god! Jari is trying to revive the Tobi drama and claim he did nothing wrong!
Okay, what does reviving the drama even mean? And is it really a bad thing? If misinformation was spread and I fix it, is that a bad thing? I remember when T-Bone 2004 did a bad video on T-Moss Boss, and Doodle Tones covered it. I never thought she was trying to revive the drama or defending T-Moss Boss. Just because she was criticizing one of his critics doesn't mean she was saying that T-Moss Boss was infallible. I hate how near the end of the Tobi drama, anyone who criticized her critics were bashed by the fans of Creepshow Luke and Thumin, just because they didn't go over every little bad thing Tobi did. That being said, my Tobi video was by no means a good video. Butters took out a lot of the points we had against Tobi. I really shouldn't have added her in to do the video in the first place. I didn't know she was a friend of Tobi until after we got started. Admittedly, some of our points really weren't that good, and the video was rushed, yet somehow I was still late to the drama. Not gonna lie, I almost didn't upload it, and I think it would have been best if I didn't. I will go over my mistakes more as I cover Luke's video. At least he doesn't go over Black SpongeBob. Yes, my Tobi video wasn't good, but people still made it seem 10 times worse than it really was. I already made a reply to Luke's Tobi video on me, but I later took it down because it didn't go over well. And on top of everything else, it got demonetized. But I did show it to Spoctor before his Tobi video went up, and he didn't go over any of the points I had against Luke. So after I made my apology, which admittedly wasn't that good because, well, I'm not gonna lie, the Tobi drama really did seem like a nothing burger to me. But in my apology video, I did tack on my response to Luke.
I would also like to make it clear that my Tobi video really didn't get that much hate until after Luke talked about it. And my apology video also didn't get that much hate until Thumin talked about it.
But now at long last, people see that Luke, Creepshow, and Kai aren't really as perfect as they once seemed. So that's why I want to take a second swing at Luke's Tobi video on me. Just a robot. How did the fall of Luke even happen? There's no need to go over the others. The problem with Luke for me is that he blew up way too fast, and I was the first person, like, ever to call him out, even before Tom and Just Stop. Turkey Tom called him out during the Pyrocynical drama, and so did Pyro himself, but he did it indirectly. Then after that, Just Stop called him out, using some of my points from my Tobi video. You see, I knew there was no way I could take down Luke head on. He could make a response to me in 2 days, and literally show evidence that had nothing to do with what he was talking about, and people would be gullible enough to believe it. But I could plant the seeds to show people he wasn't as perfect as they once thought. To me, the scariest thing about Luke and his friends was that they could make small nothing burger dramas blow the fuck up. The Tobi drama was bigger than it had any business being. And the Hopeless Peaches drama was even bigger than the drama with Kiro the Wolf. Thumin talked about me in her second video about the Tobi drama, and Omnia did as well in both of their Hopeless Peaches videos. They all got over 100,000 views, so I thought, oh fuck, I'm next, and the drama around me will blow up even more than the Hopeless Peaches drama!
But soon, Luke got into some drama with both Just Stop and Harley. So I had the chance to call him out for lying about me, Harley, and Hopeless Peaches. And even Mari, a small YouTuber with less than 3K subs. He quit YouTube for a long time, but after a year, he came back with an apology, and it didn't go over so well. Leo Convoy was the first person to respond to it, and he was not happy with it, along with anyone else who accepted this dog shit apology.
You're not sorry you did something wrong, you're sorry you got caught, you worthless piece of garbage. I don't know what half-wit created you and flung you into the universe, but they owe us an apology too. Peaches didn't deserve any of this. She didn't deserve the harassment, she didn't deserve the bandwagoning, and she certainly didn't deserve to be hounded currently by her so-called friends, stating that she should just forgive him and that his non-apology should be enough.
Millie Malware probably did my favorite response to the video, really pointing out the major flaw with his apology, and that was, well, he doesn't apologize.
So this is where the video somehow takes even more of a nosedive. Luke approaches something resembling accountability here. He really, really does, which makes it so much more painful that he just misses the mark. See, here Luke talks about what he should have done. Explain the situation, not run away, and apologize. And it's like, yes, this is great. Now you realize what you have to do. You're going to do those things, right? Right? But no. Instead, Luke goes on to explain he's done with the channel and the drama, and that if he does return to YouTube, it'll be wholly unrelated to this. But no, Luke, wait! You forgot the first steps! You haven't explained any of the situations, you haven't cleared up the misinformation that you're alluding to in this video, you haven't even apologized properly for any of the situations that you're talking about. You missed the important ingredient to the cake, and now there's a soggy burnt sponge in my oven.
Harley, the blazing sword, took a very different approach, looking at the bright side of the video while also still being very critical.
And I have to give Luke credit, because Luke returned to his platform, a platform where everyone hates him, a year later, not even with the intent to try and grow back his channel or continue posting on this channel, purely so that he could finally close the book on these situations and acknowledge his fault and wrongdoing. I have to give him credit for that, because I know how genuinely scary it is to have an entire audience that are angry at you. And I know a lot of people in the audience won't understand that. And normally whenever I discuss something like this, I see comments from people that are like acting as if content creators don't have feelings and like they would handle it any better. And like content creators are entitled to think they have a right to complain when they have it so easy. And it's hard to say those perspectives aren't completely valid, because in a lot of ways, content creators are very privileged in the life we live, in the opportunities we're given. But obviously, when it comes to receiving backlash on such a big scale, it's something indescribably scary.
So now it's time that we go over Luke's video on me about the Tobi drama. But first, I want to talk about his 2 other Tobi drama videos. I do think his first Tobi video was pretty decent for the most part, but as they went along, they just kept on getting worse and worse. So I'm going to start with his oldest video all the way to his newest Tobi video. Okay guys, right after I recorded this line, I went back to Luke's channel and all of his Tobi videos are gone. Every single one.
Just a robot. Are you saying you can't provide any evidence to the court whatsoever?
No, I still have my response to Luke's Tobi video on me, the old one, and I can use that as evidence, right?
I'm sorry, Just a Robot, but if you can't use his own videos against him, then all your evidence will go in the trash.
Looks like Just a Robot's chances of beating someone as incompetent as Luke just went straight into the fire.
Wait a second. Tobi. Trash. Fire. I got it! Remember Mari Akazu, the commentator with less than 3K subs that Luke slandered, who I defended? They have a playlist known as the Tobi Trash Fire. Luke didn't take his Tobi videos fully down, he only enlisted them. So through this playlist, I was able to find them. Thanks for not deleting your channel, Mari. I'm sure you weren't on my side during the Tobi drama, but thanks to you, I think I have a shot at victory. So anyways, as I was saying earlier, let's go over all of Luke's Tobi videos, one after another, from oldest to newest. The first video is called Tobi, How Not to Take Criticism. I think the irony is lost on Luke. And I think I just found a good name for this video.
Tobi is an art commentary channel, but instead of the background footage being gameplay like I use, they just use speed art of them drawing something for the background footage. She's a pretty big one too, and I've been watching her for a while. Someone recommended me her channel to check out because of her Peep Show art video, which I finally said her channel name right, so good job for me. It's been like a month, but I enjoyed the video, and I've been on and off with her content for a while now. But here we are 3 months after that video, and she's having her own drama, some of which is what she complained about Creep Show art doing. This isn't the first time people have made videos about her. People have been for a few months now, but this is starting to affect her channel a lot.
I think I already said this in my video about the names Chunky, but little did you know that her Tobi video would age like fine wine. Prisonmate Luke in his apology video said that Creepshow art was revealed to be a bad person, but Tobi's video on Creepshow art should have made him at least a little less trusting of her. But when it came to Hopeless Peaches, he just took her word on everything.
This drama is affecting her channel a lot. It all started when she released a video where she was talking about how it's wrong for people to draw CP, and that if you're supporting these type of people or defending them, you're a terrible person. Now you might wonder why this was controversial. It wasn't. Not the video itself anyway.
I'm showing this clip from his video because it will be important later, but he goes on to talk about her support of Shane Dawson and how it's hypocritical. And to be honest, he's right. She gets pissed off by someone for a drawing, but forgives someone for doing something to real kids and also doing blackface.
Fun fact is that she drew underage children in a sexualized way as well. You know that show My Hero Academia? It's kind of a big deal. You know that anime about high schoolers with superpowers? It's basically like a poor man's version of Sky High.
Oh God! Did he just say My Hero was just a poor man's Sky High? This is without a doubt the worst thing Luke has ever done. Forget everything he did to me and everyone else in the CC. This is just so evil. If y'all couldn't tell, this was a joke.
Guess who drew a piece of art of one of its characters, Todoroki, in BDSM gear, having tags like BDSM submissive, yaoi hard, and yaoi soft, which is kind of a contradiction, don't you think? Also, the caption on Twitter said hit me harder, so you know that isn't great either. She would later go on to make excuses for it, but before she did, people only had this to go off of, with no justification of it. And this wasn't something she made as a kid resurfacing either, this is something she made less than a year ago. So why are you going off on people for sexualizing children when you did the exact same thing?
I already talked about this in the video I did on Junkie, but it wasn't made 1 year ago. It was posted 1 year ago. She made it way before that.
No. That was posted on January, but that was drawn 2 years before that. I remember because it was the first thing I drew with my drawing monitor that I got 2 years ago when I posted that. I just recycled it. A couple of things. One, Sailor Moon isn't a kid in the entire series, and also in this, she's an adult. Also, when it comes to aging up characters for loot stuff, I don't see much of an issue as long as the character is proportionally and physically aged up as well as behaviorally aged up as well. I think my mindset of this is mostly due to me being a part of the first generation to really grow up with and are still attached to childhood nostalgia. Like, for instance, Raven and Beast Boy from Teen Titans. I was a mid to young teen when that show aired. I was close to the ages of the characters and had a huge crush on them, so as I grew up I liked art of them also being aged up to my age. I think this is why nowadays, and over the past 5 to 10 years, there have been so much lewd adult art of people like Sailor Moon, Misty, Peach, etc. With things like this, context matters and it's a gray area, I'll definitely say. That's the reason I don't apply this reasoning to me drawing the BNH8 character, is because I never grew up with that character and wouldn't have drawn him sexually if I was aware of his age, to be honest. Because of these two things, this is why I don't draw this stuff anymore. It's too much of a gray area that I'd rather not walk on the line of now that I have an audience. So once again, if this is what people are using to paint me as a pedophile, then every NSFW artist is a pedophile because they've all drawn their teenage animated crush as adults at some point.
You say she did the exact same thing, but she didn't. She drew a 16-year-old with a bloody nose. Ben drew a 6 to 11-year-old with his dick out. Sorry, but that's not even close to the same thing. This was something I got wrong in my Junkie Tobi video. I thought KO was 12, but I looked it up and he's actually 6 to 11. Also, remember what Luke said earlier in the video?
It all started when she released a video where she was talking about how it's wrong for people to draw CP, and that if you're supporting these type of people or defending them, you're a terrible person. Now you might wonder why this was controversial. It wasn't. Not the video itself anyway.
So this is where the claim that people were calling Tobi a pedo comes from. They say they agree with her stance of what a pedo is. Then later on in the video, they say she did the same thing without directly calling Tobi a pedo themselves. She also only did this once or twice, said sorry for it, and said she wouldn't do it anymore. So what more do you people want?
What also didn't help was the way she treated people asking her about the hypocrisy with Shane Dawson, and it was a legitimate thing to ask her. They were also calling her a fake progressive because on Twitter she has BLM and all the fist things on it, despite still supporting Shane the Blackface Dawson.
You know, you can still support BLM and like Shane Dawson. Don't get me wrong, it's fucking stupid, but saying you can't be X because you like X is normally a stupid argument.
Look at this comment, this nice, not really that bad comment. I will say it's kind of hypocritical to support Shane Dawson, who sexualized multiple real children and animals for money, which he did. He did do this stuff. You can look it up and find plenty of evidence for it, while also being against drawn CP. I sincerely hope your views about Shane change, because all of the evidence is against him. It's clear that he's not a good person. That's a nice comment. That isn't too bad. It's not like calling her out or anything. They're just saying, hey, you should stop doing this because the person doesn't deserve your support. So how does Tobi respond? She says that all of this was from 8 to 10 years ago and that the person is uneducated and dumb.
Okay, so Luke isn't wrong here. He does have a point. But considering how Luke would go on to treat his fans, I gotta say it makes him look just a little bit hypocritical. For example, Mari, the person who made the Tobi Trashfire playlist, was a fan of Luke. She even put his video that I'm covering right now first in the playlist, and Luke would go on to slander her in a video that I already covered. If you want more information, check out my video, Imagine Lying About a Small YouTuber Because of a 13-Year-Old.
She was gonna make a response video, and she released it, and honestly, it's not that good. I mean, it's not the worst apology thing I've seen, but when I have to go off of videos like this, there's not much competition. Although, given that, it wasn't that well received, if you couldn't tell.
Oh my god! The dislikes under Tobi's apology video looks almost identical to the dislikes under Luke's apology video.
One thing we should address about the video is the transphobic comment, or the lack thereof, really. She doesn't mention it at all. This was a big problem people had, and something people still have a problem with, because at best it was just her being an ass for no reason, and at worst it was just her being transphobic, despite being such a big ally.
I'm not even saying you're wrong here, but with how much bullshit you did that you left out of your own apology video, it's kind of funny how you get on her ass for leaving one or two things out. So I'm going to be skipping a lot of this video because some of it I agree with, some of it I already went over in my junkie video, and some of it I would rather go over in a future Tobi video, because a lot of his points he takes from other people.
After the video dropped, a lot of things on Twitter happened. Apparently someone else named Madlibs is making a video on them now.
No, Madlibs just made a subtweet that wasn't even about Omnia or Kai. Now, thanks to you, she got way more backlash for something she didn't even do. But the ending of his Tobi video is actually very good.
Tobi, if you're watching this isn't some hate video. I genuinely do like your stuff, but you have to address everything. It's a right to be wrong about stuff, and dragging this out longer is only gonna hurt you and your career, and especially your reputation. Just address everything formally and give an actual reason for it, and move on.
I agree, Luke. Now do that yourself. Now we are moving on to Luke's second video on the Tobi drama called
Tobi is a disgusting hypocrite.
I can't wait to point out all the times that he's being hypocritical in this video. Now, his first video wasn't that bad, but this one is a little bit worse than the last one.
Oh my god, does it get worse. Like, I thought the worst the situation was gonna get was when Tobi's friends decided to defend her and dogpile on Omnia and Kai, two YouTubers that did a video on her.
Dogpiling on Kai and Omnia? This is a point both Luke and Thumin like to bring up. In fact, I'm pretty sure Luke got this point from Thumin's video. The funny thing is, he'll later go on to show tons of dislikes underneath the videos of those who called out Kai and Omnia. I know I pointed this out in my very first Tobi video, but if a video has tons of dislikes under it, and another video doesn't have tons of dislikes under it, then the video with dislikes under it is the one that people are getting up on. I'm not trying to say that tons of dislikes put someone in the right or in the wrong. I'm just saying that if you have tons of dislikes underneath your video, you're being ganged up on. Also, the quote-unquote proof of Kai and Omnia getting dogpiled is lackluster at best. It's mostly just a really nice video from Nani that agreed with most of their points, Manga Common making 2 joke comments, Madlibs making a subtweet that wasn't even about the Tobi drama, and other small stuff like that.
Despite Tobi clearly being in the wrong, now I could go over their terrible biased defense and their garbage behavior as well, because Tobi's not the only one that's had behavior issues, but I would be here all day talking about it.
Wow, just wow. The foreshadowing is strong. I'm sure most of you already know what Luke would go on to do to Hopeless Peaches. If you don't, watch my video going over his video on her. But let's read her comment.
At AJ Gore, I know Tobi isn't nice. I know she's bad. She's hurt me personally, but she would never hurt Omnia and Kai, especially to the point where they leaked all her private info. Trust me, behind the scenes is even worse than what's public. Ugh.
She said that Tobi isn't nice and that she's bad. Also, she said she hurt her. But you would later say in another video that you did on Just Stop that she did everything in her power to defend Tobi. You underline her saying that Tobi did nothing to hurt Kai and Omnia, but you don't make an argument as to why that's a problem. The fact of the matter is, Kai and Omnia started it with Tobi, not the other way around. You also underlined her saying that they leaked all her private info, which, to be fair, isn't true. They only leaked her private story, but still, you say nothing about this. Yes, Peaches is wrong on this part, but I think she just misspoke. And also, this is just a comment, not a video or a tweet. Now, before any of you say, "But Jar, this is from Thumin's video, not Luke's video," I don't care. He still put it in his video. I'm talking about Luke right now, not Thumin. Luke goes on to repeat the points he made in his last video on Tobi, so we're gonna be skipping ahead a lot.
Was when Tobi's friends decided to defend her and dogpile on Omnia and Kai, two YouTubers that did a video on her, despite Tobi clearly being in the wrong. Now I could go over their terrible biased defense and their garbage behavior as well, because Tobi's not the only one that's had behavior issues, but I would be here all day talking about it. But my god, does this rabbit hole get deeper. But for anyone that hasn't seen my original Tobi video, or doesn't have any idea who Tobi is an art commentary YouTuber who recently came under fire for still supporting Shane the Blackface Dawson, and for accepting his rather terrible apology, despite him not only being a massive racist, but he's also kissed children on the mouth and has done other sick things too. Even without the racist stuff, he never really apologized for anything else he's done. But Tobi decided that, hey, this is my apology to accept. I'm sure the black community wouldn't wouldn't mind, they did, because it wasn't really her apology to accept anyway. There was also the fact that she drew a My Hero Academia character who is canonically underage in BDSM gear, tagging it with a bunch of yaoi tags and had the caption "hit me harder" on Twitter, which isn't okay. And it's also very hypocritical because she went on some big rant about how she doesn't support any of that stuff, and if you draw any underage character slightly sexually, you're a pedo.
If you think that drawing children or children that are drawn in sexual situations is okay, or you do it, or you consume it, or you're like, it's not technically CP, like it's okay because it's like drawn, you're fucking dumb. You are a pedophile.
Which, way to out yourself, because that's what you've done.
Okay, you changed what she said. Tobi said if you draw porn of kids, you're a pedo. But you said that she said if you draw underage characters that are even a little sexualized, you are a pedo. I know my infamous line of me saying 16 isn't a kid was taken the wrong way, but she said kids and you said minors. There's a difference. Maybe I'm just splitting hairs here, but you acting like porn or something that's just a little sexy or even close to the same thing is just flat out wrong. I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, a bloody nose isn't fucking porn. Hello, Editing Jar here. I want to make it clear that porn of both minors and kids are both bad, but one is clearly worse. By kids, I mean those who are 12 and under, by the way. Also, yes, Tobi did say sexualized. I missed this the first time watching this video, but Luke still lied about what Tobi said. At the end of the day, yes, she was being hypocritical, so I'll give Luke half a point for this one. Also, I want to make it clear, this is by her logic, not mine.
Because that's what you've done. But don't worry, the hypocrisy only gets worse. And her defense for that was that he didn't know the character's age.
He? Did you just misgender a cis person? You are such a cisphobe. If y'all couldn't tell, this was also a joke.
Defense for that was that he didn't know the character's age and that she aged him up. Now, besides the fact that he still clearly looks like a teenager, you can't age up a character if you think they're of age.
You are right with your first point, but he does look older to me in her drawing, but this is a very subjective point.
She decided to make a 40-minute video addressing my controversies, where in the video she either lied about what happened or never actually watched the video and someone else told her what they said because it was an incoherent mess that shows she had no idea what she was talking about. I'm gonna link to Omnia's and Kai's video responding to it because we would be here all day talking about it. The long story short, it was really terrible. Not even her own fanbase liked it.
Wait, what? Not even her own fanbase liked it? That might be true, but you do know that most of those dislikes are more than likely coming from outside her fanbase, right? You got a lot of dislikes underneath your latest video, but I wouldn't use that as proof that your own fanbase didn't like it.
Well, she still hasn't addressed the fake activism thing, but she decided to make a twit-long for the transphobic comment, and what would you know, it's terrible.
Okay, let's read what Luke put up on screen so we know he isn't lying.
Another thing I forgot to address in my video replies to a comment left on my video about r/men drawing women a couple weeks ago. In the video, I make what I thought was a lighthearted comment about having big boobs and chest binders, and how amazing it feels not having it, for fuck's sake, and how amazing it feels not having it boobs in the way, since I also wear a binder most of the time. I did not intend my comment in the video to be malicious or cause anybody body dysmorphia. A viewer, however, was upset with my comment and expressed their frustration in my comment section. The comment came off anger. Instead of either ignoring the comment or trying to explain myself calmly, I reacted harshly. I once again allowed my BPD to lash out and I acted immature. I was upset and annoyed, and I'm embarrassed that I made that decision out of anger. These are, again, behaviors that my BPD takes a heavy hand in. And is another reason why I have to crack down on allowing it to not control me, because lashing out like I have in the past is not okay. I do not want to be that version of myself, and I'm sorry. I made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I do not expect to be forgiven. I am simply here to apologize.
Now, could her apology have been better? Yes, but all you would do is say that you should have said sorry, then not do that. Or at least that's what I think going off of your newest video. It's like you and the others just wanted her to say that she's the worst person ever and leave the internet for good.
She either didn't care enough to look over what she actually said, or she lied about what actually happened for sympathy, hoping her audience didn't know the original context of it, so that way she could get away with invalidating all the people criticizing her for it, which didn't work.
Does anyone else see the irony in Luke saying this? Considering that sometimes he would put up proof that would contradict what he was saying?
All the comments are calling her out for it, and I think these comments say it best. You called a trans man's chest milkies, and when you were politely asked not to do that again, you invalidated him and told him to go away. And guess what excuse she used? Her BDP or her borderline personality disorder, which, newsflash, doesn't make you a transphobe, doesn't make you forget about the horrible stuff you've done, and it doesn't make you above apologizing for everything you have done. You only use it as an excuse not to actually apologize. Instead of just saying, I'm sorry, I won't do it again, you say my BDP is acting up, and this isn't her first time using it either.
Okay, maybe it's because I have autism, but I really hate it when people say, you're just using your disability as an excuse, just because they say they have it. Oh god, will people say I'm using autism as an excuse just because I brought it up? She did say sorry and what she did wrong. She didn't say, oh, but I have BPD, so I can do whatever I want. I really hate that people can use their age, race, or gender as an argumentative point, but you can't use your mental disability even though it gives you a different brain for most people. How is that fair?
And she somehow forgot about that? I don't believe that. She was trying to get away with it and it didn't work. And instead of making a video about it, she made it twit longer because less people were gonna see that.
Would it be right for me to say that Luke only apologized to Peaches in the pinned comment because less people would see it? Also, he still doesn't say sorry to her, just that he should have. I think the thing that I can't stand most about Luke is that he'll hold others' apology to this high standard when his are way worse. Saying sorry is fucking hard for most people, especially when you're getting shit on by the internet. People like Luke think it isn't hard until they're the ones in the hotbox themselves.
And instead of taking the hint and accepting that she was wrong, that this isn't a fight worth fighting and she should just stop using BDP as an excuse for her terrible behavior, she doubled down on it. She kept recommending videos defending her under the veil of a new perspective on the situation.
How the fuck is that doubling down on using BPD as an excuse?
A new perspective on the situation, when they were really just biased garbage from her friends or people that clearly liked her. And guess what? Not only were those not well received to the point that this person deleted theirs, it only made people more angry because instead of addressing her garbage apology and giving a real one, she kept using other people's defense of her as an excuse not to, when all those videos were doing was supporting this terrible behavior.
That's not an argument, and most of the backlash they got was because of Thumin's video. To this day, no one, and I mean no one, has made a good argument against Nani's video. You and your group just don't like them because they weren't attacking Tobi throughout their video. They did point out her mistakes, they just thought there was something off about Kai and Omnia. With Omnia, the jury is still out on that one, but with Kai, most people think they're a bit of a nut.
The next community post she posted was about how she was going to make a whole video about how some people don't understand what BDP is, and how she's going to shed some light on it, doubling down on the BDP excuse.
That's not an argument, bro. You just jumped to that conclusion. Just like you did with me when I made a tweet asking my fan base if White Knight and Simp are the same thing. But we will get to that later.
Doubling down on the BDP excuse doesn't really work with her when not only have people with BDP been criticizing her.
Well, that's stupid. Hey guys, a black guy said I'm not racist, so no black person can call me racist ever. But this is even worse because BPD has a very broad spectrum. I'm gonna be skipping ahead like a lot this time because he just keeps going over the same points that others have made about Tobi, all of which did a better job going over her than he ever did.
But the gist of it is that he was drawing OKKO NSFW and her group freaked out about it, with Tobi being really against it. Now, I'm not defending Ben. I never saw the picture, but he did seem to really have a problem with the character clearly not being of age, which I have a problem with.
So you say she's just as bad as Ben, but you didn't even see the picture? It was a 6 to 11-year-old with his fucking
dick out.
Especially when it's two people guilty of the exact same thing. It really just does show how terrible of a person you are for doing it. You could have edited it out, your BDP to stop you from doing that. Instead, you did it because you knew no one was going to criticize you for it, because your dog died and that's his video. No, it isn't an excuse. You used your dog's death to do that. And guess what? Your dog's death doesn't justify any of the other behavior you've had either.
So I heard others make this point about Tobi using her dog's death to get away with things, and that's fucking gross. Is it possible? Yes, but I think it's more likely that the death of her dog pushed her emotions over the edge. She never even tried to use the death of her dog as an excuse, and if she did, well, you didn't show proof of it, so that's on you, buddy.
It doesn't justify any of the other behavior you've had either. I want to make it clear that I don't look down on BDP or people with it. There are times where you can't control yourself, but this isn't that.
The death of her dog isn't a time where you can't control yourself. What the fuck? But Luke doesn't lose anyone or anything close to him, and it takes him a fucking year to apologize because he was just moving into a new house. Jesus fucking Christ.
But this isn't that. You've had a month, you've had multiple months for everything to do something about it, to apologize for anything, and you haven't. You've used your mental health as an excuse for all your behavior, your garbage behavior, as a way to sidestep it, but it hasn't worked.
She did try to say sorry. She just didn't go over everything. And yes, she had a month. You have such a hard time accepting apologies, yet you make such bad ones yourself. Like, just look how cold he is in this next clip.
No one's buying it. And Tobi, if you're watching this, which I could care less if you do, or if someone else tells you what I say, because you'd probably lie about what I said either way, your lack of apology shows that you aren't sorry, and any you give will be fake to try and save your dying channel. And even if you did give one, you're nothing more than a disgusting hypocrite who yelled at others for sexualizing children despite doing it. You harassed people for not siding with you in your dumb drama, and you've sent literal minors to attack people.
Tobi didn't even do anything to him, yet he's trying to make her out to be almost as bad as him. Almost. It's funny because Luke would go on to call me racist using out of context clips. Or, you know, just flat out lie about what I said.
Now, it's funny how people kept saying about how this could have ended over DMs or something else privately, but knowing what I know now, I think it was always going to end like this. Tobi was eventually going to out herself as a scumbag, and I don't feel bad for saying that. What she's done is deplorable. Someone was eventually going to make a video about her that she was going to flip out to, and now that's happening, we all see her for what she is, a disgusting hypocrite.
Sure, she would have been outed one day, but the backlash would most likely have been much smaller, and it still could have been taken care of in DMs. I know a lot of people might say,
Char, 90% of your points are just calling Luke a hypocrite. That doesn't put Tobi in the right. This is the two-quote fallacy. Being a hypocrite doesn't make you wrong.
well, I'm not here to defend Tobi. I'm here to call out Luke. He acts like she's the worst person in the world, and then he shows himself to be worse than her, and I just find that to be absolutely hilarious. You all acted like when I joined in on the Tobi drama that I backed the wrong horse, but it looks to me like you guys were the ones who did that. Now we only have one more Tobi video to go over, and it's the one on me, the longest one. Buckle in, folks. Now let's move on to Luke's last Tobi video. Why is the Tobi drama still going on? The video that made me become a bandwagon. Now I will give him credit if he does point out something wrong with my video. I was thinking of just reusing my first video responding to this, but I made it when I was 6, so I sounded really bad. Now keep this in mind, he made this response only about 3 days after my Tobi video came out, so he really rushed it. I think rushing videos actually made Luke slip up so much in his videos. He made response videos too fast, meaning mistakes were bound to happen. If you're going to rush through a video without having others look over it first, you're gonna fuck up.
But my problem with a lot of the people that have put themselves into this drama is that they've been really biased, unreasonable, and just really scummy about this whole thing.
I agree. You, Kai, and Creepshow were all those things.
I knew Cameron was going to make a video about this because in his community post he was talking about making a video saying how he was forced into this against his will, like someone had a gun to his head or something making him hop on this train wreck. If you want to make a video on it, make a video. Don't act like anyone's making you do it.
Okay, Manga Common wasn't acting like someone was holding a gun up to his head. He was getting called racist just because he made 2 joke comments. So one of the main reasons why this drama got so big is because people like Manga Common were dragged into it just for making jokes. I was friends with Manga Common, so I also got dragged into this. Madlibs got dragged into this for making a subtweet that wasn't even about the drama. Like, if Omnia, Kai, and the others weren't pissing so many people off, then the others wouldn't have gotten involved.
Maybe don't make dumb tweets if you don't want people calling you out.
What? All Manga Common is doing is saying what an idiom is, and the definition of the phrase can of worms. You don't make an argument for why this is a problem at all, but that's kind of what you're known for. Now he's gonna play a few clips from my Tobi video, but luckily it's in the robot voice, so it shouldn't be hard to tell even if you're just listening, which is my old video and what I'm saying now.
This video starts off with a message saying, please don't attack anyone mentioned in this video. But looking at Harsh's video, it got a ton of dislikes and some of the worst hate comments I have ever seen. And yes, if you look at the comments, you can clearly tell they didn't even watch the video.
If you don't know who they're talking about, Harsh Opinions is a YouTuber who made a video on Omni and Kai's side of the Tobi drama, and I didn't have a problem with it just because they were criticizing Kai and Omnia. Again, they could have handled things better, but the video itself was really bad, biased garbage. And before you say I'm just saying it for the mob, or that I've never watched the video, I've actually watched it multiple times. I actually watched it before it got more dislikes than likes, but the video itself is just bad. It's really bad. It leaves out a lot of important information that gives actual context to what Kai and Omnia said.
How so? You don't make an argument. Now, maybe he's telling the truth, but with Luke, you can't trust him. Knowing Luke, he was probably pissed just because she didn't go over everything.
And it's just needlessly judgmental, like complaining about how Omnia leaked the DMs after Tobi said she lied about them, so is she supposed to not defend herself from a bigger creator?
No, she still could have defended herself without leaking all of it. And the problem Harsh and a lot of other people had was there was a leaked private story in those DMs. It doesn't put Tobi in the right, but it also doesn't put Omnia in the right either.
She also just wrote off Kai as nothing more than a simp, and it's disrespectful to both of them. Now, she isn't the only person to call him a simp. Butters decided to do it too.
Oh no! Kai got called a simp? How will they go on being called a simp? It's only the most hateful insult on the internet ever! By the way, Harsh called Kai a white knight, not a simp, and she only did it a whole 2 times. So I don't really see how she's writing him off as nothing more than just a simp. If I call you a simp 2 times in this video, Luke, that's not me writing off your full video as you being nothing more than just a simp. That's just stupid. I've been called a simp for Tobi tons of times. I don't really give a shit. You and your little group just love to flip out over the smallest of insults, and it's sad. Also, one more thing. Kai and Omnia were in a relationship, so this point aged like milk. Kai is now being called a lot worse things than just a simp, just so you know.
Criticism he gave and just boiling him down to nothing, and writing off both Kai and Omnia is insulting. And when your whole argument boils down to Kai being a simp, taking things out of context or not giving any context to begin with, and attacking them for defending themselves from multiple bigger creators accusing them of lying, then I don't see how that video's any good.
But you gave no examples. You just said this. This is why I was scared of Luke. He just needs to say things and his big ass fan base will believe it.
Taking things out of context or not giving any context to begin with, and attacking them for defending themselves from multiple bigger creators accusing them of lying, then I don't see how that video's any good. And in my opinion, she got the backlash she deserved. And yes, it did get a lot of dislikes. What's your point? Kai stated not to attack her, and it isn't his fault if other people have opinions. And if she got a lot of dislikes, maybe it's because the video wasn't good.
I made this very same point about my video. Video just not being good. Sure, maybe it wasn't, but we both know the dislikes came from your fan base after you talked about it in your last Tobi video. And you got your fans to do this by barely even talking about the video in the first place. So you lied here. Second, my point was that people were gaining up on the critics of Kai and Omnia, not Kai and Omnia themselves. The ones with more dislikes are the ones who are getting ganged up on. This doesn't mean Kai and Omnia are in the wrong, just that they're not getting ganged up on. Or at the very least, they're getting ganged up on less than the other people. You even took out the clip of me explaining this. You really do have a lying problem, don't you?
People were calling her out because yet again, she was leaving out a ton of garbage Tobi did.
Cool, the video was about Kai and Omnia, so she didn't have to go over everything Tobi did.
Not giving context isn't unbiased, it's unfair.
I really don't want to get into the topic of the race comments because that's a whole other can of worms that really didn't need to be fucking opened.
Okay, first off, yikes. Second, you're right. Tobi isn't a mind reader, but neither is Omnia. Also, notice how both of us are speaking on their behalves right now? Just wanted to point that out. Omnia may have consented to the conversation, but she could not have expected Tobi to go on a rant about racism versus racial insensitivity. Also, a can of worms that didn't need to be fucking opened? You're a white woman. Who are you to say that? That can of worms is open for me and Omnia both, every day of our lives as black people. If that BLM in your Twitter name meant anything, you would know how foolish it is to say this.
Who are you, as a white woman, to say this? Shut the fuck up, bro. That is actually racist. A black man can say what he wants, just like a white girl. Also, she isn't white, she's mixed. She even said, I don't want to get into the topic of the race comments.
Now, as funny as it would be for a white person to call out other white people and what minorities should be offended by...
Hello, editing jar here. This whole telling minorities what they should be offended by argument, or the telling black people how to feel, which I think Omnia said in my comments section, it's just so stupid. If you're offended by the phrase can of worms, it doesn't matter your race. That has nothing to do with race at all. This was one of the common tactics that Luke and the others in his group like to pull. They really wanted the conversation to be about race, turning it into a situation that few would want to get into.
It's not something I'm going to talk about because it isn't up to me to decide it. What I will bring up is one of the main points against Tobi was her defending and accepting Shane's apology for racism on the behalf of all black people. So again, she's ignoring one of the biggest points against Tobi for no real reason. So whether or not the can of worms comment was racist, it doesn't change how leaving it out leaves out important information.
Wow, this is a nonsensical argument. But even then it's a lie because Harsh did go over the Shane Dawson thing at the start of her video.
Like, Tobi, there was no need for you to try to puff up your chest the way you did. And I don't even want to talk about the whole Shane Dawson thing, because Jesus Christ, that was just an all-around train wreck. I'm sorry, but like, why? Just why?
This was my first video on Luke, and as you can clearly see, I was onto his bullshit before anyone else was.
You see, I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve.
It doesn't change how leaving it out leaves out important information.
Omnia and Kai, you're like a spring-loaded pair of boxing gloves. When people dare to even question you, or even dare to be skeptical about your arguments, your responses are less than stellar. Also, it's a little egocentric to just assume people are talking about you. Like when you both got on the case of Mad Libs because you both thought she was talking about you two. When you two were too rash not to check the dates. Your video came out on the 19th and the tweet here is the 16th. Dumbass.
What the fuck? How the hell do you screw that up? The fact that both of you blew up over this situation on a tweet that didn't even address you at all kind of makes me feel like you're afraid of criticism yourselves.
And to be fair, both of them realized this, and in a follow-up video, Kai actually admitted to this. But this was a bit of a red flag to us, that you yourselves would get uber defensive on the matter just because people would question you in your videos.
I wouldn't have minded these criticisms at the time, or if they had never addressed it, because genuinely they should have made sure of the Mad Libs tweets, and it was defensive. I won't deny that, it was very defensive. But you wanna know something? You admitted yourselves they've apologized for it, and they moved on. You wanna know who hasn't moved on? You people.
Oh my god, this debunks none of what I said. Yes, Manga Common did say they said sorry for it, but at least we left in the fact that they apologized, unlike you. A few times with me, you left out the fact that I said sorry for things like Black SpongeBob. So unlike you, at least we're saying they said sorry. It was good that they apologized, but this was still a red flag to us. I mean, for the love of God, they went after someone for making a subtweet that wasn't even about them. Good on them for apologizing, but it's still fishy. I'm gonna be skipping ahead a lot because a lot of his points are just, but you just biased. As if it's an argument, or he just makes things up like he always does.
Like, let's not address the fact that you and Omni implied that Tobi could be a pedo. When you do that, it makes me and everyone else who knows about the situation look at you like you're dumb as a bucket of bricks. because there's clearly a problem if you're tiptoeing around your fuck up.
Yeah, you didn't use the exact words, but you heavily implied it. And that's something I do take issue with. Especially since the intelligence of your local drama seeker tends to be in the single digits. So you have to be very careful with your words, especially when talking about a subject like this.
Again, to be fair, you did say that you and Omnia don't think she's a pedo, but please, for the love of all that's holy, go through other script writings so you don't get people thinking that you're making an implication like that.
Now, Tobi's point was that people who draw porn of kids are pedos.
I just want to point out that he edited out a part of my video. This will be important soon.
Was that people who draw porn of kids are pedos. But Todoroki isn't a kid. He's 16, old enough to drive. The age of consent in most states is 16. Now I understand a few of you might say that's basically the whole it's not pedophilia, it's a femophilia argument. Fine, I get that. But she didn't draw porn of him. I don't like the movie Cuties, but it isn't porn. Suggestive? Yes. Inappropriate? Yes. But porn? No. Also, she did it one time. Just once. Jesus Christ, get over yourselves. You're acting like she's Shadman and she does this all the time.
This argument is dumb, and it's something I've seen brought up over and over again despite it taking what they said out of context. They specifically said by her logic multiple times in their videos.
Wow. Just wow. He took me out of context so he could say this. Let's play the clip he took out.
You want an example on how to phrase this better in my opinion? Toby, while that is a strong statement to make, and one that a lot of people will agree with, you need to be careful because in your past you yourself drew highly suggestive art of an underage anime character. People are going to look at that and make the correlation that you are being hypocritical, especially in today's social climate and how Twitter likes to rage about anything. Saying that she's just as bad as the people she's talking about is language that gives off the mighty bad implication that she's one of them since she's just as bad. Not only does my example not come off as antagonistic, but it also makes it so I'm not making the implication and open myself up to slander. Although, just so people can be sure that I'm not on Tobi's side, I actually agree that what she did with Todoroki was dumb. That drawing of him without properly confirming that he's aged up as well as not doing proper research on the character, and that her excuses aren't really convincing me otherwise. I don't want people thinking that I'm defending Tobi, nor do I like her stuff with Shane Dawson. I think that was stupid too. I'm just making that clear since someone's gonna try to put that in my mouth because people have already done that. And I was just making jokes at the time.
As you can see, we are not saying that Kai or Omnia called Tobi a pedo, just that their wording could have been better. I pointed this out last time I talked to him, and almost everyone said that clip doesn't change anything. People like Dulu, and the name's Junkie, of course. At least just stop pointing this out in his first video on Luke, so thanks for that, buddy. Luke in his video, Just a Robot is Just Racist, he claimed that I complained that he edited down his videos for the sake of time and that he didn't take anything out of context. He lies so much that I can't believe he thought he would get away with this forever. As for me saying 16 isn't a kid, well, let's play a little bit more of Luke's video, and I'll get to it in due time.
Logic Tobi created. If Tobi didn't want to be held by the standard that if you draw children sexually, you're a pedo, she should have never said it. God forbid people hold her to her own standard, especially since Tobi has no qualm in falsely accusing other people of the exact same thing. So again, why shouldn't they use her own standard? So it's fine for her to slander people with it, but when other people do it, it's suddenly not okay, and they deserve to be dogpiled on by the whole community.
So Tobi's point was about people drawing porn of kids. To me, 12 and under is a kid. 16-year-olds are still minors, but they're not kids. A lot of people changed what I said, saying things like, but they still minors though, as if I said a 16-year-old wasn't. Was her point stupid? Maybe, but you and your friends changed what she said. Do I want the age of consent to be lowered to 16? Nope. I'm just saying if you can drive a 2-ton car, you're not a fucking kid anymore. But the meme people made of me, old enough to drive a car, old enough for jar, that was fucking hilarious. Oh, and if anyone thinks I was defending the movie Cuties because I said it wasn't porn, get fucked. You can't get CP just because you have a fucking Netflix subscription.
I think it's personally stupid, but if that's what you want to think, go ahead.
Now, I'm speaking to Madlib's Art and whoever else you're collaborating with on this supposed video y'all are making.
Unless you're looking to end up like your little friend right here, just don't do it. You already look bad for getting yourself involved for no reason other than to do Tobi's dirty work. So just spare yourself the time and the inevitable tank in subscribers and just make some other video. I'm saying this for your own good. Take care of yourself.
Well, excuse me, princess.
First of all, you put it out there for the public, meaning anyone can give an opinion on the situation. They're not involved? Well, let's flip that. Why did you get involved, you dense-skulled leech? Tobi's dealings are her own, so why would you get involved in her situation? I'm not saying you can't, but yeesh. The mere thought that anyone could come to a different conclusion to you, or God forbid criticize you for how you acted during this situation is extremely hypocritical.
Again, to be fair, this was cut from her response from Tobi, but the fact that this was put in the final product anyway is kind of disgusting, and makes it seem like you can't take criticism either.
Now, I won't act like this isn't combative or very toxic, because it was. Like, genuinely speaking, that was really bad. But again, she apologized for this and edited it out. But it's you people who won't accept the apology. And I find it funny how people constantly say how they think Tobi's in the wrong or aren't friends with Tobi, when they constantly come to her defense and vilify these two, and don't plan on making videos on what Tobi did because they don't actually care about what she did. They just would rather dogpile on Kai and Omnia, because at this point, who hasn't?
Okay, wow, that was a long clip. But I already went over Luke's argument of, but they said sorry in this video. But let's read the screenshots he put up.
Do people think I'm biased because I'm not mean in my videos? I truly don't understand. I plan on being nice when I critique Tobi. I literally almost always been really calm in my videos. I'm still shocked when people get mad about videos on drama that come late. Bruv, a retrospective away from big growth for them clicks is always better. That's what I like, the raw opinion and empty plug, related to less emotional responses and more collected ones.
Nani just said she's not being mean to Tobi, so how is that defending her? And Nani is nice to everyone, so I don't see what the big deal is. As for Hopeless Peaches, she's just saying she'll take her time on a video. So what's the problem? Why do you keep putting up comments that have nothing to do with what you're talking about? Especially when it's a comment from Peaches. I pointed this out last time I covered this video, and people just said I was the one who was misreading them. This is why I didn't go over his comments when he did his 2 Hopeless Peaches videos at first. I thought I was going crazy or something.
I was going to let Harsh Opinions, Nani, and whoever else wanted to jump on this bandwagon handle it. But when Kai made his response to Harsh, the amount of dislikes and the amount of hate comments she got was just not normal. I'm talking about Kai in this video right now. I'm several times his size. But I'm also telling people not to attack him, just like he did with Harsh. I highly doubt his video will get that many more dislikes. Now, maybe Harsh's and Nani's videos were terrible, but I watched them both. They were just as calm and collective as they normally are. I just don't understand why so much backlash. A lot of the comments on both Nani and Harsh's video are on the lines of, I used to be a fan of you, but you just disappointed me. This is your worst video yet. Or, I'm new to this whole situation. I don't know what's going on, but to me you seem a little bit biased in Tobi's favor. Why didn't you talk about her? I've been on the internet for a very long time, and these comments seem majorly sus. It could be that the Tobi haters are really rabid, or Kai and Omnia have a little Discord group and they're getting a whole bunch of people to do a coordinated trolling attempt. But that seems like too much of a conspiracy for my taste. I think the comment that finally broke me and made me want to talk about this situation is this one right here. I feel so bad for Kai and Omnia. Like, imagine the entire art community gaining up on you for making a valid criticism of someone. This is a top-rated comment on another video joining in on the whole Tobi drama. Let me ask you this. Is the entire art community gaining up on Kai and Omnia? Fuck no! Look at the videos made by Kai and Omnia. That's a very good like to dislike ratio. Now let's look at the rating on Harsh's and Nani's video. Oof! I wonder who people are gaining up on, guys. It's just too hard for me to tell. Also, Nani and Harsh are not the entire art community. You are delusional if you think they are.
Maybe, just maybe, they were terrible videos that no one liked. Not only could you see if you took 2 seconds and checked it out yourself that you would know that Kai and Omnia don't have a Discord to organize some evil raid for, they're way too small to have an impact like that if they did have a Discord. The videos were disliked and had mean comments because the videos were biased garbage from people who either left things out intentionally or didn't care enough to look into it like Narni.
You know, with how much of my video Luke used, I think I could have easily flagged it down. So this whole "but Kai doesn't have a Discord" point is stupid because I said that's too much of a conspiracy for my taste. I'm not saying they did that. What did you think I mean by saying that's too much of a conspiracy? I said that because other people brought that up to me and I didn't agree with it. Turns out those videos got tons of dislikes because of people like you and Thumin. Also, Creepshow Art manipulating things behind the scenes on lolcow. I think Kai and Omnia also made the same point in their own video as well.
Despite them apologizing for it and moving on, it's lip service to not liking Tobi, and that's all it is.
The one thing I hope this video does is give the rest of the commentary community some backbone. I know a lot of you see the bullshit in this situation. Nani, make your video public again, and maybe make a part 2 while you're at it. Anyone else who wants to join in, join in. If you want to criticize Tobi, go for it. But the amount of hate people will get for not defending Tobi, but criticizing people who criticize her is outrageous. I don't really care about this Tobi situation, and I want this to be my first and last video about it. But if I have to make a part 2, then I will.
Well, that point really aged like milk.
Yes, while the crowd. Nani does need to make her video public again, despite it spreading misinformation.
Wait, it spread misinformation? First of all, that's rich coming from you. But how so? You and no one else has even covered her video. If it's so bad, then why has no one done a commentary on it?
You say how the community isn't ganging up on them, and then you tell the community to gang up on them.
Nope, I'm telling people to make the videos they want to make on the drama, whether it's for or against Tobi. I get how it could come across that way, so I'll give you half a point for this one. So that puts Luke at half a point. Let's see if he can make it to a full 1.
And then you tell the community to gang up on them. Not that they weren't doing it already, but still, you're not brave. You're not going against the grain.
I am going against the grain. I'm going up against people like you in Creepshow. And in the end, I won. Now let's go over what he said about Hopeless Peaches. She herself asked me not to go over this when I first covered Luke's video, and then later after I did cover it, she got upset with me. This is one of the things that made me make my only negative video on her, but of course I ended up having a change of heart. So now this time, I'm going to be going over about half of it.
And another person who commented was Hopeless Peaches, who also decided to put herself into the drama despite constantly saying how she doesn't want to be in it, and would just never leave it alone.
She didn't even make a video, so I don't really see how she's involved all too much. So if I comment on any drama, that means I'm suddenly involved? That's just stupid. She didn't. The screenshot you showed doesn't prove that. If any of you want more information, watch my video, Prismate Luke grasping at bars, or just stop second video on Luke.
Well, you say how you're going to be taking a break from the drama and comments and all that, which is fine. If you need a break, you need one. I'm not saying you don't have mental health problems, but you would constantly come back to post more things and beg for sympathy. And when you were getting genuine criticism for all the garbage you've done, you decided to suicide bait your audience.
Oh god, just no. So many people have already went over this, but she really was having problems that didn't have anything to do with the drama. Okay, so this video is supposed to be about the Tobi drama, not the Peaches drama stuff. So just so you guys know, everything he said was wrong in this part. And if you want more information, check out my Hopeless Peaches playlist. This video is already long enough, and if you want to help out Hopeless Peaches, she's trying to find a new home. So send money to her GoFundMe. I'll link it down below. But why did Luke even talk about Peaches? She wasn't even in the video with me. It is possible Creepshow Art got him to talk about it, but I don't know for sure.
Try to justify it or ignore it. Kai is thinking about quitting YouTube now because you people want to label him as nothing more than a simp and have riddled him down to nothing.
Isn't it shocking that Kai has quit YouTube like 6 times now? Almost everyone in the commentary community hates him, but he's still uploading. So now that we are at the end of Luke's Tobi video on me, all I have to say is, to me, he only really made about one good point. Maybe I'm wrong, but if this is the biggest video covering my Tobi video, then a lot of the hate must have just come from people who fell for Luke's lies. Maybe the other videos covering my Tobi videos are better. I mean, after all, Luke really sucks when it comes to making arguments. If anyone is gonna say,
but you didn't go over this or that point, you should have covered the video done by this or that person. They made way better arguments against your videos.
well, do you want me to make more videos covering them? Or will you guys just flip out if I do, saying I'm reviving the Tobi drama? This video wasn't made to bring the Tobi drama back. It was made just to make fun of Luke. Luke got really lucky last time I responded to this. I was really sick, so I wasn't exactly at my most coherent. To me, Luke is just another small commentator who would have never made it big. That is, if he didn't get so lucky with his Scott Coffin and Yandere Dev video blowing the fuck up, and then proceeded to do really good with the YouTube algorithm. With the amount of views Luke was getting, he was at bare minimum making 40K a year after taxes. For that amount of money, most college graduates would kill for it. But he just couldn't stop slandering people. Like me, Harley, Hopeless Peaches, and tons of others. Doing evil things for money is one thing, but doing evil things and losing money is another thing. I'm really happy I was the first person ever to call this asshole out. I understand that because I'm autistic, I am far smarter than anyone else, so it takes the average person more time to catch up to my superior level of intellect. I know I shouldn't use autism as an excuse, so I'll try my hardest to dumb down my content so you plebeians can keep up with it. I said in my very first video about Luke that this would be an uphill battle. Well, at the end of everything, it looks like I won. The thing that pushed me over the edge to make this video wasn't actually Luke's dog shit apology. Granted, it was part of it, but it was also because of Kai's video on Thumin. Yes, Kai came back to YouTube for like the umpteenth time, and I highly recommend you guys check it out. Because according to Kai, Luke, Thumin, and Omnia were planning to make me the next bandwagon after Peaches. You all saw how much the Tobi drama blew up, and how much more the Peaches drama blew up after that one. A lot of people called me a little bitch after I apologized, and that I apologized too soon. But with the ease that Luke and his friends would twist the narrative to make it into whatever they wanted, they could literally put up screenshots that had nothing to do with what they were talking about, and use it as evidence against me. I've gotten backlash plenty of times before, and personally, for the most part, I think I handle it pretty well. But if Peaches got more backlash than fucking Kiro the Wolf, and her drama being bigger than the Tobi drama, that means my drama could have possibly been even bigger. That's the type of backlash that can leak into your private life. There's a thin line between bravery and stupidity. If I didn't apologize and kept on fighting, that would have been fucking stupid. In Kai's video, he goes over that there was a group between Junkie, Thumin, Luke, Ghost, Omnia, and Dulu. Really explains a lot about how this drama was going and how it was going to go. Junkie, you were my friend. You knew about the video about my past, and you knew how important it was to me, but you were still willing to throw me under the bus? A lot of you might think I've done too many videos on this topic, and you're most likely wondering why it's so important to me.
It's because I almost lost everything.
Hello everybody, I'm so sorry for how long this video took to come out. I took some time off working on it, about halfway through because of IRL stuff. The Tobi / Creepshow Art / Luke / Just a Robot / Hopeless Peaches / Kai drama was definitely the biggest drama I've ever been a part of. Was Tobi perfect? No, but people got blinded by their hate for her up to the point where they looked past the real monsters. Getting ratioed for once on YouTube was certainly an interesting experience. And yes, this is the last time I plan on ever talking about Luke. The dude has lost most of his power, so I don't think he can use it to hurt anyone anymore. Also, remember in my last video about the Tobi drama, the one on the name's Junkie? Well, at the end of that video, I said a YouTuber who rarely uploads is going to be uploading a big video cataloging everything from the Tobi drama to the Creepshow drama, all the way to the Kai Weiss drama. A lot of people thought it was Ponder Sprocket, but no, it was Cecil McFly. I don't know why anyone thought it would be Ponder Sprocket. She only made one video about the situation saying, but Creep Show Art isn't back yet. The Tobi drama was certainly a learning experience for me. I wasn't perfect in it, but neither were most of the people I talked about. I really should have done more research into the Tobi drama before I jumped in. I really didn't understand how many bad faith actors there were in this drama, and they really took advantage of how poor my video was, making it seem 10 times worse than it really was. People assuming I went after Kai and Omnia just because they were black, or people thinking I was simping after Tobi and trying to excuse all of her actions. This stupid "you're reviving the drama" argument, which I've never heard until that point. People telling me Luke was a cool and wonderful guy, even though I could clearly tell from a mile away he was an awful, awful person. Some people say I cucked down too fast, but the thing is, I really started to think I was actually completely in the wrong. Plus, everybody else in the slideshow commentary community gave up. I didn't really start fighting back all too hard until I realized they weren't going to let me just apologize and move on with my life. They were really trying to cancel me. Kai does a really good job showing that Omnia, Thumin, and the others were planning on canceling me after I apologized. Oh, and to everybody who was comparing me to Sonic 93, now you actually can do that because she apologized, came back a year later, and I came back over a year later to talk about a drama I already apologized for, just like her. I really don't think I should be compared to Sonic 93 just because I talked about a drama that was quote-unquote dead only a few weeks ago. I'm just saying what she did with her drama and what I did at the start of the Tobi drama are not even comparable. I just want to make it clear, this video is not designed to bring Tobi back in any way. If you don't like Tobi for X, Y, or Z, cool, I won't stop you. But if you're hating on her for false reasons and I debunk those, that does not mean I think she's a perfect person. I'm kind of surprised I actually have to explain this. The hardest part about this drama for me was that the video about my past was done, and I thought I was going to get cancelled before I could have a chance to release it. All I hope is that next time there's a big drama in the commentary community that I get involved in, you guys won't immediately assume I'm a bad person just because a bunch of new people said so.